I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm just busting your balls.
I was about to say. I was about to say.
Man, you wild.
Just
How
busting your chops.
we sounding?
Give me 1 second so I can catch up.
All right.
Walt, dance,
Walt.
monkey, dance.
I went. I and you hear we not might be from the pier when we drop some bombs on this pod. We're gonna talk a lot of nonsense when we start speaking.
What is going on, man?
I'm talking.
I think we're good. Walt,
God,
wake
Jesus.
the hell up,
Yeah,
man.
man.
I'm
The
getting
hell?
depressed just listening to you.
Yeah, Jesus.
I hear myself, yeah.
He sounds like he literally woke up like 2 minutes ago, man.
Hey, you don't. Hey, you know that?
Long night of the booger sugar.
Yeah, I guess so. At the strip club, man.
Oh boy.
That's where he was.
Yeah. All that beef.
It was that what?
Beef. It's a bit from a comedian. It's a hardcore place. I haven't. Yeah, we here. Yeah. Do I sound good? Is good?
You sound just as burrico as you did last week.
Yes, ho, takate, tukatoko.
Jesus. Okay. You guys ready?
Yeah, I'm good. I am ready to go.
Okay. Did you send a tweet out?
Not yet. I gotta copy and paste the link and then
Okay.
put that in there. I actually had the right Final Fantasy this time.
All right. Well, while you do that, I'm going to introduce the show. Guys, welcome back to the DualShock and Sense Podcast. Episode 20, man. Fucking made it.
Nice.
Guys, I am your host,
Yeah,
Soul,
we're
the
done.
connoisseur of anime waifus. With me, as always, I am joined by Walt. How you doing, man?
What's up, y'all? It's the sucker that thought that taking summer classes was easy. This is killing me. I took two, guys. Yeah, they're easy. They said. No, it's a whole semester's worth of content. But hey, we're here playing games. Psych. Played like 2 hours this whole week, but we're getting it in. We're getting it in. But feeling good. Cool. A fun week for video games and a little just a smudge of a shit stain, but it's a fun weekend overall.
A smudge? Just only a smudge?
Yeah, it's just as much. Might turn into an infinity of shit stain, but we don't know. Let's do it.
We also got Macho. How you doing, man?
Doing good. What's going on, everybody? It's the King of Kingdom Hearts and the Final Fantasy fanatic. I've been waiting to do this podcast all week. I'm really excited for today. Got some juicy topics, and yeah, man, I'm excited to tell you guys what I've been playing this week. It'll be a nice surprise.
Cool. All right. I mean, let's kick it off with that, man, because mine's gonna be pretty short, man. I haven't really been playing much myself. I haven't really gone back to RE since last week. Only thing I really did was go back to Platinum Ratchet and Clank, and that was pretty much it. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the quickest segment, man, for me. I literally had nothing else that I played this week. So what about you guys? What did you guys play?
Well, since Macho does actually have something, let me get mine out of the way. The short while I've played Returnal for, I finally reached the first boss, Frike, and I was a few hits from killing it, and I was a few hits, and I died. So that's been my week.
That was so anticlimactic. I thought you were gonna be like, I braced this man, and I
Yeah.
triumphed over Hades.
Nah,
I
nah,
died.
nah. And after that, three more times I died, and just getting used to it because it is pretty intense. But I'm loving it. I loved what I've played so far. But yeah, that's been my week. Just Returnal when I can, and the rest is history. But yeah, how about you, Macho? Well, tell us about your nice list.
Yeah, man. So I've been kind of dibbing and dabbing in a couple of things, and I'm getting back into my regular schedule where I kind of have like each day for a specific game, just so I can actually get through these stuff. So we had Final Fantasy Friday, and that was for Final Fantasy VII Remake. And man, that game is just chef's kiss, perfection. Music, gameplay, the whole nine yards. The other game I'm playing to get myself hyped for WitcherCon is Witcher 3.
Ooh,
Very nice.
interesting.
Very nice.
I've been playing
You
it
started
all
from the
year.
beginning?
Yeah, I've been playing it since like December 2020. Yeah. So, this is like my third time playing it.
Okay.
So it's my first time playing it on PC. So I'm doing with like all the bells and whistles and everything. And basically, I finished the main story like around Wednesday or Tuesday. So now I'm just kind of doing like some of the monster quests and gonna get into the DLCs and all that. So that's been a ton of fun. But my main focus for the past couple of days has been Returnal.
Oh.
Hold up.
That that GameStop sale caught me.
Hey.
They had a nice summer sale. I had some GameStop credits, so what I ended up doing was I bought Returnal on sale, and I picked up Demon Souls and Dark Souls 3.
Nice.
Oh wow. There you go.
Yeah, so I'm actually gonna. We're gonna talk more about Assassin's Creed later, but I kind of been deflated on Assassin's Creed, so I've been looking for a new series to dive into, and I figure why not go with the Miyazaki games before Elden Ring comes out.
Yes, sir.
So I picked up those two, but I want to play Returnal because I was just so interested in what people were saying about this game. And let me tell you, Walt, oh
What's up?
buddy, you're in for a surprise.
What happened?
I got to the fifth biome last night.
Wait, what?
Bruh.
Yeah, yeah. I got to the fifth biome last night.
Whoa, what's going on, man?
Have you been living at all this week? What happened? Wait, is this a parallel dimension?
I kid you not, man. I got at least 9 hours into the game, and I started to play
Bruh.
on Wednesday. And dude,
Jesus.
I've been freaking addicted. This my Final Fantasy Fridays were not Final Fantasy this week. It was Returnal.
Wow.
Damn.
Whoa.
I'm
Yeah,
shocked.
dude.
I'm shocked that it's only taken you 9 hours to get to the fifth biome. How many
Really?
times? Yeah, how many times have you died?
Oh, but at least like maybe 20. I forgot the last stat that I saw,
Really?
but yeah, but like when I got to like the second biome, I think I was like at 11.
Damn. Okay.
This
Yeah,
man
no, yeah,
is.
I'm the kind of gamer that's really trial and error. Like it takes me a while to kind of like really like overcome something if I'm having trouble with it. But with Returnal, like it's just like once I get invested into it and I'm like I understand how to do things and kind of how to operate, then I'm all the way in. So with Returnal, it's just like I know what kind of build I want to get into. I know what's my weaknesses. I know what my strengths are. So I just dive right in, and I'm really addicted to it. It's a ton of fun. The fourth boss was just it wasn't
Yeah, dude.
hard, but it was incredible.
Yeah, it honestly gave me chills. It's like one of the coolest bosses
Yeah.
I've fought in a while. Like it's
Damn.
so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't agree more. Just like, because the thing is about the third area, it was giving me a bit more trouble than I would say the second area, the Crimson Waste.
The third area is definitely pretty tough. And then I also found the fourth area, or Was it the fourth area? Yeah, yeah. The beginning. I don't know why, man, but the beginning of the fourth area for whatever reason was like kicking my ass. Like I only died 7 times in the entire game, and that fourth area was like responsible for like 2 of those deaths. And like for whatever reason, it was like the beginning of it was like really really tough. But then like eventually you kind of get used to it. But yeah, that one was definitely weird.
Yeah, you
Usually,
have a lot more patience than I do in that sense because I'm definitely more of the impatient kind of roguelite
yeah.
gamer. So when I like dive into and I mess up like in the first couple of areas, I'll just restart and then of course dying to like stuff that I don't see on the screen. But other than that, man, it's the fifth biome is absolutely kicking my ass, and I need to combat it with a different angle.
Yeah.
So that one I've been stuck on like last night. Like I was playing, I was like, all right, I can do it. And then it was like 12 o'clock. I was like, I can't do it. I'm gonna go to bed. So
Yeah,
You
that's
see,
funny.
my big thing that why I haven't been able to do like much progress, it is because I'm playing it in short bursts, and it's a game that you have to like take a few hours to actually like sit down and play,
Yeah,
and like
you
put
really
your
have to
whole
commit
energy
yourself
into it.
to it.
Yeah, but this is not to say I'm not going to do it at some point. I just need to like figure out how the hell am I managing like some stuff I need to do. But when I get that done, oh, I'm going to be a whole day just going biome after biome. But for now, when I sit down, I'm already like, man, I got stuff to do. Let me get this quick. And I don't invest the amount of energy I need to, so I die easily.
well,
Which I haven't died many times either.
the thing is that at least a person like that, at least the kind of gamer I am, like for me binging a game like that, it's really taxing because the game is exhausting after like a couple of hours. It's a little bit like Doom Eternal, where like you're putting a
Yeah.
lot of like mental focus and
Hmm.
gamer skill into it. That after a while, like you're eventually just gonna start waning off and like what you can do. So I know once I hit that peak, like I noticed I just kind of stopped playing the game. But even then, like anytime I got off of work or if I'm on my hour break at work, I'll just jump on and just to kind of like explore and kind of see what these abilities are doing, what's a good like mix up and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's been a ton of fun, dude. It's like I'm just addicted to that loop of finding what abilities or what like builds I can make out of basically nothing
Oh yeah.
and just going from there. But yeah, dude, the bosses are like so incredible in this game. And it's
Yeah.
just peaking that fireworks sensation that you're seeing on the screen of bullet hell gameplay, and it's a ton of fun. So I'm excited to see like where else like I'm addicted more to like where like the conundrum that's going on with this planet and with Celine,
You
especially after the part where I got to.
yeah, you're definitely gonna need to do your fair bit of research. Um, it's funny because I was going to do on Lognet sort of like a story explanation, and then I just kind of came to the conclusion that it's too much. There's too much happening. Um,
It's very complex, very deep stuff.
yeah, definitely. Um, no, that's awesome, man. That you're enjoying it for sure. Like it's like when the gameplay like truly clicks and everything sort of like makes sense and like you're just kind of like dodging and weaving and just like knowing when to fire off bullets and when to sort of juggle between going in close for a melee kill and hanging back to like avoid bullets. Like when all that stuff like clicks and you're able to juggle everything perfectly, that's when the game like truly feels like second nature and just everything starts to fit perfectly like a puzzle piece. Like I don't know, once you kind of get a grasp on it on everything, that game just becomes like so much fun.
Yeah, and the thing about it too is like when I was starting, even like the first or second area, I wasn't like totally crazy about it. I was like, this is fun, this is pretty cool. But I didn't really start to fall for the game until like as soon as I put the controller down and I had to go back to work or something, and I was just like, damn man, I can do it again. I can go for another run. Maybe if I pick this up or use this gun like that, like I started thinking about it more and more and more afterwards. And I was like, oh, I like this game.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool, man. I'm really enjoying my time. I'm liking it way more than I was expecting. Um, I doubt that I'm gonna be able to finish it this weekend, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the runs go.
Shit, man. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
you may be able to. I mean, only taking 9 hours. Shit. That
Is that not normal? I thought the game was like could be completed like in
Man,
no time.
I guess it's just a me problem because I did the same thing with Ratchet and Clank, man. People were saying that they finished it in like 12, 13 hours, and it took me like 26 hours to beat it. And then with Returnal, it's the same thing that people were saying that they finished it in like I don't know, like 15, and I think I took 20, 22, 23, something around there. Um,
I mean,
so
I take my time with games. I don't rush it.
yeah,
Like, with Returnal, something I'm doing a lot, and I'm still in the first biome, is a portion of my gameplay this week. I just spent like staring into like just wide open areas and listening to the music, the very like alien music, and just staying there for like a couple minutes, being like, "Wow, this feels pretty nice." And then I just
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
playing.
Can you touch a little more on that? What about the atmosphere of this game? I mean, you're going in the first area, but like it's still even from then like it immediately jumps at you that like you're not in Kansas anymore.
Oh,
You know?
absolutely,
Like
absolutely.
and just wait till you get
The
to the other areas and like I had to just like sit there in awe of like what I was looking at.
there's this section which the comparison has been done many a time already with the game in Annihilation, but there's this section in the first biome that it's like this big sphere that's like alive in the middle of a room, and there's like dead corpses of aliens around. And when you enter this room, the music is very, it feels like the environment is breathing. And if you get close to the sphere, you hear the sphere do some kind of noise, and if you shoot it, it recoils and then it just gets back into place. And it feels like this alien artifact or being that's just floating there. And that very much reminds me of one of the scenes in Annihilation where essentially the protagonist, Emily Blunt, the Emily Blunt plays, she's looking at this essentially like this hole in the wall, and you see this being just scroll out of it, and the music hits, and there's nothing else but the music. And it's like he's doing pantomimes. It's like he's moving with the music, and there's this like alien feel to it. It's amazing. The feeling it invokes, it's amazing because it truly feels like, yeah, you're not in Kansas. You don't know where you are. I don't know where I am. Celine might know.
Yeah, dude,
I love it.
it gets crazy, especially when it comes to like the music where you're touching on and everything. But yeah, it's otherworldly in like the utmost sense of the word. It's so encapsulating and of what like an alien Prometheus like
Exactly.
otherworldly kind of feeling that you want from something like this. It
Hmm.
like it does it in spades. So I'm extremely happy with it.
For
And
sure.
yeah, man, I can't
Cause
wait till you get later in the stages where like it gets,
hell yeah,
man, like the
dude.
fourth biome just I love it so much.
It's my thing with how it happened because when I first started, fighting Frike, I realized that my biggest thing is not so much the intensity of the battle, but it's the PO the point of view that you have, because it is a third person view, and you have to be very much aware of when an attack is going towards you, when it's going up, how to react to it. Because as soon as I started the fight, it reminded me of Fury. It reminded me of this isometric view that I had with all this bullet hell going on. But I did have that isometric view. This time around, I have more of a control of my character. So it's
Hmm.
the contrast was jarring at first, but I got pretty used to it pretty quickly. It was just a matter of how fast I am and how quick I am to actually like learn the patterns. Because that's the thing, which with each new health bar, there is a new ability or there is a new behavior of the alien. And what got me was the first time around, which I almost had him, was I was dodging bullet hell, but then I for a split second, I forgot. Oh wait, this is when he goes at me and strikes with a melee attack, and that's what killed me. So.
Oh
I didn't
yeah,
think of it.
yeah. No, those
Yeah.
those are the tracker melee attacks.
Yeah, yeah, that's what got me. He did the big beam, the red beam that came slowly. And then he did two of those, boom boom. And then he did the purple bullet hell that went all everywhere. And after that ended, after I'm dodging, I'm like, all right, I'm in the clear. Melee. I'm like, oh, right, you're there. You're still a boss. I forgot.
Yeah, no, it's well, to give Frike credit, right? Because when I first got to the boss, I did die, but I picked up the astronaut item, and I had no idea what it did. I just started picking up stuff, and then like once I died, and then I came back, I legit put my controller down, and I was like, he was probably like a couple of like hits away from dying. So I was like, damn it! I put my controller down, and this Link got back up. I was like, oh shit!
Yeah, I think we all definitely do that. Because I don't think like it even like it gives you the astronaut after you come back from the house. I think like the first or second time or whatever. So it's not something that you actually go to the store to buy that first time, right? It's kind of something that's like given to you. Which
yeah, I had no idea. So once I actually died from the boss, I came back up and then I beat it. But yeah, man, it's one of those things where every boss that I'm fighting against, my toes are curling up and I'm like clenching the wood floor below me, just so tense. But yeah, I'm loving Returnal. Good stuff.
Yeah. You're clenching so much that if you stand up, you're gonna take the seat with you. That's how hard you're clenching.
Last thing I'll say is you should definitely watch Maximilian Dude's streams of Returnal when you finish the game. It's fun. Like he absolutely adored the game, and it was fun kind of like watching him like theorize like what's going on, and then like just him gushing over like the bosses and him like freaking the hell out, like, oh my god, guys, this is so fucking cool. And then at the when he finished the game, just spending like an hour or like more with chat, just like talking about and like theorizing, trying to piece together what was actually like happening with the story. Was like really,
perfect.
Really fun.
I'll check that out then.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that. He does that so much with so many games that he just sits with the chat and he's just theorizing. He did it a lot. Like he did it for a long time. When he finished Final Fantasy Remake, like theorizing over what's gonna be happening in part 2. That was a long stream, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun watching him break that down. So I'm looking forward to that then. That's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys. So I think that basically covers the games that we've been playing this week. So let's move on to some of these topics. I think this could be a quick one. I don't know. Let's talk about what happened at WitcherCon yesterday. You guys all had a chance to at least check out like some of the highlights?
Yeah, definitely.
I did, yeah. I checked the highlight. I didn't watch the whole thing because school, but I did check out the highlights and I'm not disappointed. A lot of good stuff, honestly. I'm really happy.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
So let's start with the season 2 teaser trailer. Would you guys watched it, right?
Yeah. I actually watched it last night. Like as soon as WitcherCon had ended, a few hours later, I saw it and I bookmarked it, and I almost forgot. I fell asleep, and I'm like, oh wait, I had to watch it, and I watched it. And honestly, there's things that obviously people that have read the books will get from it. I haven't read them, so I didn't get much from those aspects. But as someone that watched season 1, I'm pretty damn excited. A lot of focus. I mean, obviously, the emphasis this time around, very much so on Ciri and the whole idea of her being, what was it, like how she mentioned in the trailer, I'm your destiny or whatever. A lot of good stuff in that trailer though. A lot of it I don't understand, so I'm hoping, Jay, if you caught something that maybe you want the audience to like pick up from the trailer or something to be hyped about, by all means.
You would agree, basically, just like Kaer Morhen is probably like the biggest like standout from that trailer, right? Or like probably like the most important thing.
Yeah, and series training
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, basically like those two. That well, yeah, those out of like everything that was in there, that's kind of like what they highlighted the most. And just kind of really affirming like Ciri's and Geralt's relationship with the whole if I tell you to hide, you hide, or if I tell you to run,
Yeah.
you run. So yeah, that's kind of like got out of it, and yeah, December
which
17th.
which he, which he then proceeds to say run. It was funny because I was like
Yeah.
expecting the hide. I'm like, is he gonna say it? Nah, he didn't say hide. I don't know, this is something dumb.
It was cool though. I love the way they cut it in the trailer. It was definitely keeping me on edge, and I think it's like a whoever
Oh,
whoever
for
put that
sure.
trailer together deserves a nice raise.
Oh, for sure. And more Anya, man. I'm so sad because we only got a glimpse of her at the end. But as soon as I saw Anya, I'm like, oh yes, Yennefer, please, more Yennefer. I want more Yennefer.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think for sure. God damn. Um, Kaer Morhen is to me at least was like definitely the standout for that trailer, like the most important thing
Hmm.
of that trailer, just
Hmm.
because like it's sort of like even in the books, man, seeing other Witchers is like a rarity. Like it doesn't really happen that much.
Yeah.
So like the chances that we do get to spend time with Eskel, Lambert, Vesemir, and Cohen are like it makes it that much more like precious because we don't really get to see a lot of them in the books. So yeah, it just made me really happy to that we're finally like quote unquote like Geralt saying that Ciri's home or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool to kind of see that place like realized in live action is just like it's so cool, man.
Yeah. They did a fantastic job. It looks good. It I always expect these shows to have when they're replicating a setting, a very iconic, fantastical setting, for it to look a bit manufactured, I guess. But this time around, it looked pretty. It looked very nice. It looked very, and it stood out incredibly so.
Yeah,
And
it's oh, go for it, go for it.
Oh, I'm just really quick is that like they something that like because I'm always kind of like looking for like okay, what are they like changing or how are they going to deviate from the source material? What are they going to bring to the table that's like quote unquote new? And obviously this is it's like a give and take, right? Like these kind of things don't always work. But in this instance with Kaer Morhen, they added in sort of like the main hall this like tree that has like a bunch of Witcher medallions like dangling from the tree. It's almost like a Witcher like memorial for like their fallen brothers, previous wolf Witchers, and that's a thing that they totally added themselves. That's like a Netflix series like exclusive or whatever. Like that's a thing that wasn't in the books, and I think it's like I was saying it in my reaction video that's like it's even though it wasn't in the books, this is like this feels 100% like plausible for someone like Vesemir to or for the Witchers to have within their stronghold a little like memorial for the past Witchers, and I think it's even though it wasn't in the books, it's something that totally makes sense, and it's a really good addition in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that actually, and you started that off because what I was going to say was that when I was watching the Henry Cavill interview, they made it a point where because obviously Henry Cavill is a big Witcher 3 fan, Witcher fan in general. He's
Yeah.
playing the games and see, he's actually talking about an interview too, which was funny. But they made it a point where that these properties are like these different ways of exploring the Witcher universe, whether it's the book, the TV show, or the games. Each kind of they operate in that on that same universe, but they feel different enough and like varied enough to be their own thing. And that's one of the things that definitely hits home is the tree that kind of gives like memorial to all these past Witchers with the medallions and everything. And the game being what after the books, right? Soul.
The games, yeah.
Yeah, the games being after the books and the books being themselves doing doing their own thing, the original source material. So,
but then it gets
I'm glad
weird.
that they're taking on the liberties with it.
But then it gets weird because the author says that the games aren't canon. So
Yeah.
it gets weird with that stuff. But I mean, but yeah, that's
I do see his point though, because it's a play your own. It's like you make your own adventure in your own Geralt. So I can see him why he would say that.
really, I think it's just him being salty. He's kind of like an asshole, but
because of the whole royalties thing, and he didn't take it.
yeah,
Something like that?
yeah. He kind of like laments like the game's success, but I don't know. I kind of consider them to be like somewhat canon because like they refer a lot to the books. So yeah, it's
Oh yeah, they pay a lot of homages to the books. Like
oh
there's
yeah,
tons,
they
tons of references
they
in there.
constantly talk about like events that happen in the books. So he's just being an old man. But yeah, man. It was a really cool thing. I have to finish watching it because I only watched like a little bit of it. And then I wanted to really quickly. I had to give them. This is how I know like they the showrunners or like the creators of the show or whatever, that they are like okay, like they I how why I like somewhat trust them, or like I feel good about them sort of like taking on I feel like The Witcher's like in good hands because of this specifically. They revealed the titles for the episodes. One of them was called Redanian Intelligence, so that definitely that's Dijkstra's episode, which is going to be really exciting.
Yeah,
But
little
then
snot nose streaks. Hate him.
yeah, he's pretty cool. He's like a
I'm
fan
so glad
favorite.
what happened to him in the books. Yeah, is he a fan favorite? Oh
Um,
man, I'll take his kneecaps.
um, but I think it was like maybe two episodes after that. Like Redanian Intelligence is the fourth episode, and then episode 6 is an episode called Dear Friend, and that is like I was losing my shit when I saw that one because it's basically this. It's in reference to this letter that Yennefer sends to Geralt, and it was essentially after the two of them had broken up, and it's basically just like the most petty letter ever, man. Because it basically starts off as like, "Dear friend," and and it's like I feel so honored that I am the third person you would turn to in this emergency, because like it's in reference to Siri, and basically Geralt goes to like Triss first and asking for like Sorceress's help for like helping Siri with her to like control her powers and whatnot. And yeah, so he basically goes to Triss first, which is like a big like slap in the face to Yennefer, and she kind of like addresses it in the letter. She's like, I'm just so honored that I am the second person that you would turn to in such an emergency. Like, what did I do to ever deserve this?" It's just so
So
funny.
toxic.
But it's the best.
It's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah,
It's the greatest
just
thing ever.
in the best way, man.
I love it.
It's basically her way of like friend zoning the shit out of Garo. It's the funniest
Yeah.
thing in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. I
I
mean, good. Yeah. No more toxicity.
I gotta read this because it's so funny. So it's
Go for it.
quote, "Dear friend, your unexpected letter, which I received not quite 3 years after we last saw each other, has given me much joy. From your letter, it appears that you have lived a peaceful, wonderfully boring life devoid of all sensation. These days, such a life is a real privilege, dear friend, and I am happy that you have managed to achieve. I was touched by the sudden concern which you deigned to show as to my health, dear friend. I agree with your opinion that the help of yet another magician is absolutely necessary. I feel honored to be the second to whom you turn. What have I done to deserve to be so high on your list? I am, after all, your dear friend. Your valuable friendship is too important to me to disappoint you, dear friend. Should you in the next few years wish to write me, do not hesitate for a moment. Your letters invariably give me boundless pleasure. Your friend, Yennefer." And then, and then after that, it just says Geralt cursed. So, and it's really funny. And then it also goes into like, or after that, it says that like this was like the 10th time that girl had read the letter or something like that. Yeah, it's just like one of those like legendary like Yennefer moments, and the fact that like an entire like a title like an episode title is literally "Dear Friend" is like, okay, these guys know what they're doing. Like they know who they're talking to. So that was definitely like a really fun moment. But yeah, man,
Yeah, I
overall,
kind of
Oh yeah.
go ahead.
I kind of got that sense of like the entire show is in really good hands when the even from the first season really when one they chose Henry Cavill to be Geralt, that was like a big plus. And then once they got like my favorite moments in, they got two of three of my favorite moments from the books into like the first season, and that was the first episode with Renfrey and um oh gosh, what was the other one? I'm blanking. I just had it in my head right now. But they got two moments that really stood out to me. They are my favorite from the books. And I saw those episodes. I was just like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And just sort of like the like excitement and passion that you hear them sort of talking about The Witcher, man, is just like it's telling that yeah, man, like they are definitely fans, and that this is definitely like in the right hands. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, especially Freya, who plays Ciri. So I
yeah,
wasn't sure if she would really like knock it out of the park, but hearing her talk about training and kind of like being around like the Witcher boys and all that stuff and like how fun that was, like I'm excited to see her progression in the season.
yeah, definitely, and
Oh
and
yeah.
as well as the showrunner, Lauren, just like she, because they played, I saw that they played like a Witcher like trivia game with like two of the developers from CDPR, and like, yeah, man, it just feels good that she knows her shit, man. It's like I feel like with like other adaptations of like this ilk, like whether it be I don't know like Last Airbender or Assassin's Creed or like Ghost in the Shell, I feel like the people who were like in charge of those things like knew only like the surface level shit about these properties that they're actually adapting, whereas like Lauren and you know her team, like they know like not only just like lore, but like some lore that even I didn't know, and I don't know that's just that fills me with like I mean like we already said, Macho, like these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's like having Kevin Feige the head of MCU. I feel like with Lauren, or like
yeah.
she knows her stuff, and she has like the right kind of creative mind and showrunner mindset to really take this series and to greater heights that the books or the games can't do. So
Yeah, definitely. Um, all right, man. So, yeah, that was definitely it was definitely fun, man. I really enjoyed everything that came from that. Um, all right, man. So let's get into PlayStation State of Play that happened on Thursday. Um, how are you guys feeling about this? Because like people people were they definitely had their opinions that they were disappointed, even though we were told yet again what to expect from this show. So like I don't know what else like PlayStation has to do for these things, because like they came out beforehand, they said, hey, no God of War, no Horizon. This is gonna be mainly Deathloop focused with some indies and third party stuff thrown in. It's only going to be 30 minutes. Yet people were coming once it finished. They were like, "That was Sony's big summer event. You know, where was Final Fantasy? Like, where was this? Where was that? Like," and I'm just like they told us what to expect, man. I'm confused why people are having their expectations set to the moon for these things when they're telling us what to expect beforehand.
nah, I didn't see Final 16. It was a trash show. It was trash.
Yeah.
I should. They said third party stuff, and it should have been there. Final Fantasy 16 should have been there. And I'm standing.
man.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I actually really like this show.
Me too. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't like,
good.
you know, the greatest thing in the world, but like, yeah, I found it enjoyable too.
No,
What
yeah, I
was
liked a lot of. I liked most of the things that were shown in there. Actually, I was a
what
big
was
fan of it.
everyone's like sort of like like give me one like standout title for you.
Oh man. Honestly, I don't know. Okay, so something I really liked is the weeb coming out for a moment. Um, something I appreciated was seeing in a world where you get just ass anime fighting games. I'm actually glad that they showed off one of the fights of the upcoming Demon Slayer game, and let me say, that's good. That's how you do it. It doesn't look like your generic, like, oh yeah, One Punch Man, like ass empty game where you just mash that zero and you just hope for the best. No, there's like an actual boss fight where there's like a pattern to learn. The room is shifting and changing, just like in the episode where that happened. Like it looks engaging. It looks like they're doing service to the actual property. Very much how Ufotable did it with the manga and adapted it into a phenomenal anime. That's one of the things standouts for me. Also, you know, I wasn't just like Returnal when it was first announced. Deathloop wasn't really. I could have given two. I couldn't give more two shits about it. But the more and more we get more gameplay about it and a bit more information about it, the more I'm anticipating playing it. It looks like fun. That's all I say. I'll say fun. I don't have these God of War's Final Fantasy expectations from it. It just looks like a fun arcane game. It's not Dishonored, but it's not complete two-pack of ass. You know what I mean? And other than that, I don't know if this was during State of Play, but it was during the day. One of the bigger, more exciting highlights being the Death Stranding thing. But y'all can go more into that because I barely remember what, like, I know there's a director's cut, but I barely remember what was like the additions that were being made for the game. But take it away.
Yeah,
Dance.
I'll go next then. So, like, during the show when I was watching it, the one that stood out to me the most, like, as I was watching the show, was Jet the Far Shore.
Yeah, man.
Ooh.
That one, I'm not into, like, space exploration. I'm not into, like, anything like the game was really, like, advertising, really, or what it really was, but just the atmosphere and kind of like the mystery of it and just I guess the fluidity of the gameplay looked like a lot of fun and something that I could just like really kick back and relax. Something like Journey, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that I was getting kind of vibes from that, but that one stayed in my mind afterwards too. But like, the one thing that like really surprised me was how great Deathloop looked. And you guys know that, like, I was like, we talked about before, like, are you gonna pick it up day one? I was like, no, I'm not. You can't.
No.
There's no way I'm gonna play it. But this presentation actually worked for me, and it was mainly due to the not really the gameplay or like the type of kind of like presentation it was, because we kind of seen that before. It was more the writing and the voice acting that just had me chuckling and really following along with these characters, and like I was actually getting into it and I was like, oh my gosh, like this actually is something I might like want to follow because it actually sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
So yeah, Jet the Far Shore and Deathloop for me.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Jet definitely surprised me, because it was not what I was expecting. I was expecting it just to be that sort of like, you know, flying around in the spaceship And
Yeah. Like
also,
flour.
I'm sorry, man.
Like flower.
I was completely enraptured in this cutscene, man. I forgot how much I loved Wolfenstein 2. Um, this is such a great cutscene. But yeah, Jet definitely surprised me. To learn that, yeah, it's definitely a lot more than just like Walt said, flour. Um, so
Yeah.
but for me, it's still Sifu, man. I'm still really excited for that
Oof.
game. Yeah, just the combat and the aging mechanic, man. I'm really intrigued if like I'm curious if it's just gonna be like an aesthetic sort of thing, right? Or if it's actually like gameplay. You're gonna feel sort of like the wear and tear as you age. Like, will we be slower? It looks like nothing really changes, but who knows at this point. But
It'd be it.
it looks really cool.
It would be interesting if with each time that you age, you have bonuses that make sense and debuffs that make sense. Like for instance, if you're young, you have a lot of stamina, but your skills are pretty, let's say, basic and not completely mastered. But then you keep, uh, let's say, aging, and maybe you can't perform as many combos, but the ones you do perform, they hit hard. But because you have mastered it, because you're older and wiser with your skills, that'd be kind of an interesting way of doing it. If they make it where the older you get, the more you master a certain technique, but the less you get to do it because you're old. If that makes sense, you know?
I wonder how that plays into difficulty too, where it's like
Oh, true.
you're older, but you could be more powerful, but like you're saying, well, it could make you more slow, or you have less stamina.
Hmm.
Does that play into difficulty where maybe it's a little harder to be older, or maybe it's harder just to be younger and just kind of just go for that route? So I'm interested to see like what they do
Yeah.
with it. It could be the Dark Souls of martial arts games.
Oh my god. Fucking reminded me of, I forgot who made it, or who was saying it, but when it was being released, Lawbreakers. It's gonna be the Dark Souls of first person hero shooters. The Dark
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. It died. That's what happened.
Yeah, I'm still very confused by that by Sifu, just like as far as like how it
Yeah.
works, but yeah, I'm hoping they can fix up the sound design. It was delayed to early 22, so hopefully they can make those punches not sound like slapping wet blankets.
Hey man. Sometimes you just gotta
Um,
slap them.
but yeah, man, that was definitely my standout. And then also, I mean, we could kind of get into the Death Stranding director's cut conversation as well. This is
Yes, sir.
definitely a more substantial little upgrade than I was, or director's cut than I was anticipating. Man, the little things and improvements that they're adding. Obviously it's a remastered version of the original game. You have little additions
Okay.
like the firing range, new weapons, the the fragile circuit, which was so cool to me. Um, and then
Yeah, that's awesome how it looks.
yeah,
It looks really nice.
it's so cool. And then it's like kind of like in from the main game how you and sort of like the community kind of worked on building these highways together. The circuits kind of act in the same way apparently that alongside other players you can actually build out the circuit together. So that's pretty cool. And then they added things like the cargo catapult, which was another really cool thing. The buddy bot, which is like this little like pair of like robot legs that like runs alongside you as it's carrying cargo for you.
Did you hear the sound it makes when it's
Yeah,
running?
yeah. It's so cool,
It's the funniest thing.
so cool. And then you can actually like hop on top of it to catch a ride as well. Um, yeah,
Catch a
man.
ride.
Yeah, it's taking the scenery, like it's overall, man. It's really cool. And Macho, people are still complaining, man.
Oh, no way. No way. Really?
Still do
Surprise,
that?
surprise, surprise.
Oh man, you hate
Yeah,
to see it.
you hate to see it.
I know it's. I think we were just really coming at it, just misunderstanding, and of course, we have those, those bootlickers
Yeah,
that just love to be like, oh my god, they're charging you money?
yeah,
What? Like
yeah,
it's like, come on, man.
yeah,
Like but I think honestly, Death Stranding's upgrade is very considerate, actually.
yeah. And it's probably like the way that you like should do it, right? Um, just the $10 and you're good. But like, come on, man! Like the people who are asking for this stuff to be free, when it's like people are actually going in there and putting in like development time. That's obviously that can't be free, man. Like I don't understand why people are expecting it to be free. If I was an artist and I finished painting this masterpiece or whatever, and then like 1 year later I was asked to sort of like redo it but make it better, of course I'm going to charge money for that. That's work, right? That's work that I'm putting into that. Of course I would want to be compensated for that. I don't know if that's like a direct analogy, but like I feel like it's kind of like that definitely can be like related to that. So like, yeah, I don't know.
No, it
Yeah,
does. It does. It's the
but
same thing with the Lord of the Rings like 4K Blu-ray that came out a couple of days. Obviously, they're going to charge for it because one, it's Lord of the Rings, so it's going to make money. Um, from fans stuff like that. But the thing is, like, they actually showed Peter Jackson and like, I think it was like a maybe not a graphic artist, but like a video editor or something, actually going to the studio, looking at every scene and touching it up to make sure that it's compatible HDR, that it looks as crisp as it needs to be. And those are like, that's like a marathon of like about 10 to 12 hours of film, and they had to go through every scene to look through and see if it's as clear as it can be, so that when it's on released on 4K Blu-ray HDR or Ultra 4K, it looks the way it was meant to be or the way he envisioned. And yeah, of course they're going to charge you money for that. I have Lord of the Rings on Blu-ray, but I had to pay money to get the 4K versions, and of course I had to because that's the way it is. I'm not
yeah,
expecting it to
but
be free just because I have like the other versions. Like that's stupid.
Yeah,
when people have too much time on their hands, they complain about being charged because they don't consider others actually putting the like grind and time to put a good product out there. They don't appreciate that because they have so much time on their hands. They're like, wait, but time is free. You have all the time in the world. They're just they're not bootlickers. They're just how my dad would say. Ellos están calentando ola. Like these people, they're not doing jack. They're just like expecting everything. No, these men, no, stop warming that sea and get your ass up there. Like, stop,
Yeah,
speaking.
stop.
I love for these people that are like complaining about paying $10 or whatever to actually be in the to be in the seat and actually do these upgrades and put like the thought and the creativity into it. But I bet they can't do it for an hour.
And the funny thing is that like these people who are complaining about $10 are hyped for a $350 Nintendo OLED Switch, right? Or
Oh,
or
hey,
or
No, don't say that.
or
oh,
are
hey,
or
hey.
are buying $2,000 PCs, or are buying 10 Xbox controllers.
Or
It's not.
buying a $50 port for Switch.
It's nonsense, man. Honestly, like it's crazy to me. Like, if it was like a $50 upgrade or something along those lines, then like sure, like I could understand. Like even then, like okay, like I maybe I would understand, but like it's $10, man, and for what they're adding to the game, I feel like that's more than like worthy. You're also getting new like story content as well, man. Like yeah,
Yeah, they're adding a lot to it. It's not like Ghost of Tsushima where it's like we don't really know what's like in the upgrades beyond what they posted in the blog, and it's kind of sketchy. And you're just like, oh, might have to do like a wait and see on that $10.
yeah.
But
But
this
but
one
but
is like a no-brainer. Like,
but guys, it's a walking simulator. I don't want to play that. Why are they upgrading?
yeah,
The
just go
old stuff.
outside, Wall, if you want to play. Just go
Yeah,
outside.
why play a walking simulator when you can just walk?
Yeah, why
No,
pay
so
God.
$10? You just go inside, Wall.
speaking of people having too many or too much time on their hands, I got look. I'm not gonna do this a lot on this show, This ain't that kind of podcast. But I got some smoke for somebody. I gotta call someone out. Macho, I'm sure you know who they are.
I have a feeling.
Wonton, what's going on, man?
Oh, the boy wants the insider's insider.
This has to stop, man. Like, enough's enough, man. Like, enough's enough. You've been like, I just don't understand. Like, what's the act? Why keep doing this to yourself, man? Like,
man, your favorite PlayStation's insider's favorite PlayStation's insider.
Bro,
oh no.
Bro, he like a couple days before the state of play or whatever, he was like, the next Sony event will have GTA upgrades, Sunset Overdrive, and all these things that didn't happen in the state of play, man. and he just continues like nothing happened, man. Like, I gotta respect the resiliency, the sort of ability to never give up, I guess. But because I guess his thought process is that, like, just continue to throw, shit at the wall until it sticks. But, like, man, you've been wrong every single time, man. Like, enough's enough, man. like I posted on one of his tweets after the latest time that he was wrong, and I was like, I posted that one SpongeBob meme that was like, when SpongeBob was doing the stand-up comedy, and some dude in the back was like, oh brother, this guy stinks. I was like, yeah, man, that's my opinion, man. Like, come on, man, enough's enough, man. This man's been dragged through, like, the community, like, time and time again for these quote unquote predictions that just don't come true. I'm just wondering when it's gonna end.
Funniest thing.
Yeah,
It's the funniest thing in the world, honestly. I kind of get like a nice chuckle out of it. My favorite tweet of his is like, there's more to come or something like that.
Yeah.
Like some generic. That's just bad generic sound like Square Enix up in here. I'm just like, yo, relax, just stop.
Yeah, just the vaguest kind of thing that doesn't mean anything. Yeah. or like PlayStation, I don't know, they announced, like, or they put up a blog post for, like, an indie title, and then he comes out and he's like, he tweets, "This is just the beginning," something like that. It's just like for what? Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Yeah, it's that kind of thing of, like, saying something but at the same time not saying anything. Yeah, it's I don't know, man. Like I could do that, man. Like is anyone, like, can anyone be a quote unquote insider these days, man? Like, this shit's crazy.
I got you. And Jay, there's more to come with Final Fantasy 16. There's more to come.
Oh shit, I would hope so. But
there's more to come. It's just you wait and see. Just you wait and see.
They won't see it coming.
They won't see it coming, exactly.
But bringing it back to State of Play, man. This actually, I wanted to get your guys' sort of read on this. Is that, like, I don't think that there's gonna be a big summer event this year for PlayStation. And I say that because I was totally expecting the two things that I was expecting that you would have in a sort of big blowout summer event was, okay, the Ghost of Tsushima announcement of the director's cut was alongside the expansion. That was announced in a blog post. And then remember when in the Summer Games Fest when the Death Stranding director's cut was announced, it was this whole kind of thing where Jeff Keighley said, more to come in a few weeks or something like that, and everyone was like, oh, okay, PlayStation's big event is happening in a few weeks or whatever. But now that we got the director's cut, full, announcement trailer in the State of Play, I'm like, okay, so they're not gonna save that for the big summer event. So, like, my like line of thinking now is that like okay, the next sort of big titles from PlayStation being God of War and Horizon, I'm thinking that they're just gonna do kind of what they've been doing with their other titles and just reserve like fully fledged gameplay deep dives for individual state of plays, right? Like how they did for Ratchet and Demon Souls and Destruction All Stars and Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima. That Horizon will get another dedicated state of play just for itself, and God of War will also get the same thing. But in terms of like a summer, I mean, Macho, Final Fantasy 16, a game that we were fully like expecting to be in this theoretical summer game or summer big blowout game event or whatever, that might not even show up again this year. It's looking like it's not even going to be at TGS. So like, yeah, I'm fully convinced at this point that like PlayStation might not even have one.
I'm of the different mindset actually. I think they are going to do another showcase because when you're looking at their fall lineup, it's not very like as packed as really one would expect for the fall season of gaming, because the big PS5 titles that are coming out between now and December is Deathloop, Death Stranding Director's Cut, Kina. Am I missing anything else?
But is that not and Ghost of Tsushima, is that not like a decent
Oh, Ghost of Tsushima.
is that not like a decent like fall lineup? Like yeah, obviously, Ghost and Death Stranding are, like re-releases, but like Deathloop and Kina, I feel like that's like a pretty like that's an okay like fall lineup, especially taking into account everything else that they've released in late 2020 and early 2021. Like I feel like realistically, like what else can they release? I feel like that's a pretty like full year's worth of content for the
Well,
platform.
it's not bad, but the thing is that they're leaving out 3 other months, just October, November, and December. And the thing is, we don't really know about Ghostwire Tokyo. We don't know about Horizon Forbidden West's release date. Um, why you smirking at that?
Man, go man. That get man. I don't know, man. I don't. That game first. That game didn't look good to me when it was first revealed. Especially coming off of Evil Within. Like I've never played those games, but like to go from that to Ghostwire, it was just like really really jarring, man. Like art style wise, to me it just didn't look good, and then like the first person like combat didn't look good either. And then just the fact that they haven't talked about that game since, man. Like I'm really nervous about that game.
Well, even then, that's even more reason to actually do a showcase and show the how far it is in development, if there is any updates worthy of like posting up. But there's still like a ton of like games that we just don't know about that they've had in their catalog there. So the ones I just named were ones that don't have release dates or haven't had. The latest update was from Horizon Forbidden West, so we're still waiting on to see if that's 2021. And that could fit well, between maybe Call of Duty this year. Is there a Call of Duty releasing this year?
Shit, we don't even know that.
There you go.
Oh
See, there you
snap!
go. There's another showcase for like this one was like on the third party stuff and on indies, which was a great highlight because I like the show anyway. And then of course Deathloop. But then there's stuff after September that we still really don't know about that's still up in the air. So I think that's where it comes into place. And as far as Final 16, yeah, scratch it off your list. Like the Yoshi P, he likes to play things close to the chest, and he's only like to reveal stuff when it's ready to be out. So be grateful for that first of all, because Square did like the utmost wrong with 15. So with 16, I think we're getting a lucky spade with that. But yeah, I think there's still a couple like months there at the end of this year that could be filled out that makes PlayStation 5's first year like absolutely its best.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Because
well,
the thing is, Kina wasn't even shown this in this showcase either, which surprised me.
well. Here's the thing: they've already shown so much of it. There's been like I think South by Southwest. They had like a couple like random other like sort of like indie or like film sort of like little events that they've shown out, like I think the PC gaming show or something along those lines. They showed a big chunk of gameplay. Like this game has been showed like extensively since the state of play that happened in February. So my line of thinking is that, like, yeah, we've seen so much of this game already. Like, is there really any, like, obviously we'll get probably, one big last sort of like launch trailer, once the game is like probably probably early August, to coincide with the actual release of the game. But I'm like, why else? It's the same complaint that everyone's had with Deathloop. Everyone on Twitter
it's exactly, it's the same thing with Deathloop. Yeah. So like they show that again. So like,
yeah,
why wouldn't they show Kina again?
Well, because the PlayStation buy exclusivity for Deathloop, so of course they're gonna try to get their money's worth, and they want to put that game front and center because they spent probably a fuck ton of money on that game. So yeah, they're obviously gonna market that as much as possible. But like Kina, I don't know, my line of thinking is that, like, like everyone on Twitter was complaining that, we've Deathloop again. We've already seen this game like so many times, man. And like, I don't know. I'm kind of like, we've already seen so much of Kino. Like, why show it again when it's so close to release? Like, I don't necessarily think they really have to, aside from like a big launch trailer or whatever.
Maybe it's just me then, because I really appreciate this extra look into Deathloop that actually made me consider playing it. Whereas Kina, I'm still looking for like a really good reason to drop in on day one.
Nah,
want
really?
the physical box.
Really?
Yeah, well, because I want the physical box. That's why. I don't want it digitally. I actually want like a hard copy of it. And if that's a possibility, which they did say is a possibility, then I want to wait for that.
Man, they convinced me with the first trailer. I was sold, like, already. Like, I don't need to see anything else from that game. What's up, Level 1? But yeah, Wall, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this, man.
I mean, it's interesting because first of all, this later half of the year, it is good, but that's it. It's good because we're so used to PlayStation having these incredible semesters or years, and thinking about what they have in store. Obviously, some people are going to be underwhelmed, and in regards to what we've seen with Kina. I mean, as soon as I saw the art style and how it's gonna look and play, in the first trailer, I was sold with Deathloop. From my point of view, not only do they want to get their money's worth, I do feel like Deathloop didn't need to convince more people that it's gonna be maybe like worth to play, because I don't think the first two times that Deathloop was announced, people were that convinced on it, or were sold on it. Which I do understand why they keep showcasing it. And again, it's each time they showcase something different from Deathloop, it somehow makes me more interested than the last time. Maybe this time around, yeah, maybe the writing like this time added to it. But when it comes to the latter half, while y'all were talking about like what's gonna come out and all this, in my mind I'm like, I just hope that that rumor of the Bloodborne remaster is true. Like,
oh no! God damn it!
Well, the thing is, well, you weren't wrong in like wanting to see that during this state of play, because it did say third party, and From Software is third party, so that was in the back of my mind, but I wasn't really hoping on it.
Right, but like, especially considering, now that I mentioned that, considering Bloodborne, it is one of the more beloved PlayStation exclusives, as well as From Software games. And now I'm like, the latter half. Yeah, you have Ghost, you have Death Stranding, you have Kina. Let's do Bloodborne, baby. Just put Bloodborne out there.
Enough's enough, man. Enough's enough. There's a goddamn Bloodborne rumor every fucking week, man. Yes. Like, I don't want to hear it. I'm done, man. I don't want to hear it.
They actually got a surname this time, though. They got a surname.
Oh wait, really? What's the name?
Let me look it up real quick. I had to actually go, but I saw on Twitter. I was just like, "Oh my god!"
But like,
Stop
honestly, in regards to Sony, centric. If there's any more surprises, then I'm down for it. I love indies, so I'm looking forward to a lot of indies. I don't know which other indies are gonna come out besides similar to Kina.
Bloodborne Endless Nocturne for PS5 and PC this November.
It sounds kind of fan made. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of my read on that too.
Yeah, it sounds like someone was edgy on Reddit and was like, what would be cool? Endless Nocturne. Yo, bro, you should post that. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm all this year. Since this year started, it's been pretty slow. At least for me. Not only because I started the year with no PS5, and I just recently started like getting into like the games that were already coming out. What's to be expected? Honestly, I'm pretty excited for Deathloop now. I'm more excited than I was before. I keep getting more and more looking forward to playing it. But honestly, Kina, I kind of agree with Macho in the regards that I would like to see more of it. And not only because we haven't seen maybe enough of it, but because I want to have more reasons of why I'm gonna purchase it.
I'm telling you, there's 30-minute like gameplay deep dives on YouTube that they've done. They've shown this game extensively, man.
So I don't know, man. It's one of those things that I do see what they've showed, and I've seen the deep dives, but for some reason I'm gonna get it regardless. But there's some things that I don't know. Maybe it's not that big of a game, and they're showing what they can, and I get it. But just a part of me would have wished to see a bit more, but maybe that's me thinking that I want something, and they're like, no, you don't want that. Trust us. Maybe that's them telling me that. I don't know. But in regards to the rest of what we're getting, I'm glad that we're getting more PlayStation 5 upgrades, which I honestly, I'd like to see more of that. Like more proper, like director's cuts, like actual, like it's like a new entity. Like I like that idea when it's substantial.
I don't, man. I'm nervous, man. I'm really nervous. Like, cause you better believe that they're gonna do this with The Last of Us as well, man. And like, I don't know. Like I would have much rather this just be like for Ghost of Tsushima's case, like just the release the expansion pack as a standalone kind of thing, man. I don't know. It just makes me a little weary that they're kind of like, that they're doing, essentially reselling us these things. Obviously it's souped up and it's sort of like the definitive version of these things. But like, are they really going to go through their entire back catalog and do a sort of director's cut for?
Nah,
you know what I
mean?
Not
the whole thing. That's why I more specifically mentioned like they do this with. Granted, with one of their more popular titles. Like, I mean, Death Stranding, granted, it was popular, controversial, it was many things, but I do think this is a much needed, I guess, director's cut for a lot of people, like, giving people reason to play it, because a lot of people just skipped on it, and they're sleeping on it. But in regards to their other titles, if they do a director's cut, it would be a shitty if they kept doing it, but not only doing it, but they did it charging you extra for things that they would not. Like for Last of Us. Last of Us 2, they gave you the upgrade for free on PlayStation. If they did a director's cut, it'd be cool if they did a director's cut, but not increase the price. Just make it literally like a different cover art or like, and just, I don't know, like make it like a PlayStation 5 only disc or title on the PlayStation Store, like don't change the pricing just because it's a director's cut, unless you're adding stuff to it, like Ghost of Tsushima with the expansion, or Death Stranding and its many little add-ons. But if they, I'm not for the, it's 60 FPS, $10. Oh, it's 60 FPS, $10. Like I get it, but like if you keep doing that, like that aspect, then no, I'm not for that. That's the part that I, as you say, sometimes get me shaking in my boots. I don't know.
Yeah, he's not licking his lips for that one.
Yeah, nah, chief.
No, I kind of agree that the thing is with Ghost of Tsushima, I feel like it kind of threw us into a funk because it, out of all the games, that one doesn't feel like a director's cut makes sense. Especially since we're just adding an expansion to, like with Iki Island. I feel like you just be good just paying the $20 and saying this is the complete edition, but making it like a director's cut is kind of odd. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I'm
Yeah,
looking
the
at
naming it is odd. The naming is odd. When you say director's cut, it's like, give me like this is what I thought when I first read it. I hadn't seen what it was gonna have. When I saw Ghost of Tsushima director's cut, in my mind I'm like, what is there, like commentary? Like like something you can turn on commentary? Like you're slashing samurais and you just hear the director like, oh yeah, back in
this
the
was really cool to
1700s.
motion capture.
Yeah, this is where actually this is funny. One of my producers, and I'm like, dude, shut up. I'm trying to play a game.
He lost an ear at this part. Okay.
That's what I expected, but yeah, it is the naming. It is odd, but with Jay, I agree that they shouldn't do it with every game. That wouldn't make sense. I feel like they should be very selective of their titles. Like if they're planning, which I doubt, if they do like a God of War DLC where it's a little extra realm or whatever the hell they do, and they're God of War director's cut and it has an expansion, it's like, okay, I can get around that. But if it's like just an upgrade of visual enhancement, then that doesn't make sense. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And then like to you guys' point about, you know, Sony's sort of fall lineup, like another reason why I don't think they'll do a show this summer is that like Sony typically doesn't have big releases, you know, in the fall. And like obviously, you know, 2020 was different because, you know, it was obviously the launch of a new system, so they had to have stuff to coincide with the new console coming out. But like typically their big first party games always come out in you know the first half of the year, you know, in that sort of like March to like June sort of like window. So like that's why I don't know. I have all these reasons in my head why I don't think that they will do one, but I could definitely see the case for either or, man.
Yeah.
I just want them to fill out the year, at least when it comes to like those last 3 months. Even if you have something in just December and Deathloop was September was your last like big game to drop on this console.
But that's what I think this state of play kind of did. Even if like, you know, the games, you know, some of those games are multi-plat, like, you know, you're talking about, you know, Demon Slayer or Lost Judgment or Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima and Deathloop, like that kind of fits the bill for filling out what the rest of this year is going to look like for PlayStation. So, and I honestly think that's it, you know. So,
I still think they have some more. So I think they just need to update us on, you know, whether Horizon's actually coming out this year. I think that's like probably like their main focus.
yeah, and they will, but again, that's probably going to be reserved for shit. I wouldn't be surprised if that was just a blog post, but definitely I'm definitely anticipating God of War and Horizon to just be, god damn it, to just be to just be sort of their own sort of like state of play kind of things.
Yeah.
But yeah. Level 1 really quick, Fame. We started, you might have to ask Macho when we started doing the podcast on Saturdays, man. Macho, you want to explain that?
Yeah, Macho.
Yeah, Macho.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's going on, Macho?
The reason why is because I'm gonna be a dad, and I had to make all these adjustments. No, I'm just kidding, man.
I was about to say, I was like, this is news to me.
Pause.
Nah. Sorry, babe. Nah, not for a long time. I know it's really because of when at my old job, I used to actually have hours that I could work around doing them the weekdays, but unfortunately, not be able to do that. So the new job, which I am thankful for, we have to push on Saturdays now. because yeah, your boy's working and he's actually commuting to work, so it's can't do it. What time do we do before? Thursdays at 10?
God, was it Thursdays or was it Fridays?
We kind of like went all over the place with it
Yeah, that's
actually.
true.
It
Yeah.
was no,
We
it was
did both.
Thursdays. Then we did a couple of Fridays, and now
Yeah.
officially Saturdays.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much the extent of it. Okay.
I apologize if any inconvenience, but yeah, man, life has that way of kind of switching up on you. So
Life
good
finds a
change
way.
though. It's a good change.
Yeah. We're in our groove now. Okay, so that does it for the state of play. If I had to score it, like, maybe like a 7 out of 10. Like I said, man, Lost Judgment was cool. Um,
Yep.
I'm gonna docket some points for that Demon Slayer dub, man. that shit was making my ears ache, man. Um, and
Yeah,
then
I know what you're excited for that, but Demon Slayer, I was
No,
when
the
I was
game-
like, what am I looking at?
The game itself, I'm glad, because here's the thing: One Punch Man left a sour taste in my mouth. That game ass. But when you make an anime game,
Hey,
everyone's
yo.
trying to do the Naruto like fighting style game, and it just doesn't work. And Demon Slayer, I feel like they're the way that they're approaching it's all about how the moves look and how flashy it is and the quote unquote epicness of the fights. And I like what they did with the boss fight that they showcased. But man, they chose dub, and I agree. I had it muted.
Nah, it wasn't that bad, was it?
And no. And here's the thing. I I appreciate that. I just realized that a lot of the voice actors are overlapping with Darren and My Hero, because a lot of them are. I think Tanjiro's the same as Deku's, and a lot of them they sound familiar, which is why it's not Attack on Titan dub. You know, it's a good. It's not a bad dub, but it was jarring because I watched the whole thing sub. But enough of weep shit. I'll go in a whole tangent there.
What's up, Mahmood? What's going on, man?
Mamu.
Thank you guys for coming through, man. It's awesome to see.
Yeah.
you back.
Appreciate it. But yeah, so yeah, Lost Judgment, Death Stranding, and
Yeah.
Sifu. I think that's like I always tell you guys, man. Like if I can get like 3 or like 4 things from any conference, then it's like, all right, then you know that's a good show for me, man. That's why I like the Xbox conference so much, man, because they had like there was like a good amount of stuff there that I could point to and say, yeah, man, those are definitely things that speak to me. And that was kind
Yeah,
of
or
the same
even
thing.
or even WitcherCon. WitcherCon had a lot of stuff that was warranted for, or a whole showcase.
Oh,
which
for
was
Yeah.
nice.
sure. Oh, yeah,
Definitely.
we didn't mention it. I actually looked at it before we started the podcast, 'cause I hadn't seen it, but the anime that they're doing looks pretty nice.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Um,
Everyone's going for that Castlevania aesthetic, which I like.
Ah, yeah, it's so good.
So, what about you, Macho? What would you, if you had to give this little state of play score, what would you give it?
Yeah, I think I'll go with like I want to say 7-2. I like the pacing. I thought it was like actually a really good show, and there is a lot of stuff I pulled from it that I was surprised about, that what I liked. A couple of games I could fart on. But
Can we talk?
other
Can we
than
talk?
that-
Can we fart on Ilphonic, man? Is it safe to say that they're a fartable game company?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right,
I think so.
okay,
I think
cool,
So, yeah.
all right.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, man, it was a good show. I was really surprised the amount of content Death Stranding is actually coming within this director's cut, and it was just a nice surprise too, just to see that it was reduced price at $50 for like the entire thing or whatever, and then a $10 upgrade for PS4 owners. I thought that was really cool. And again, Deathloop, a game that I didn't have my radar. That was definitely not. I was off. I was like, nah, I'm good. And then after this showcase, it really surprised me, and mostly due to the writing and the voice acting. I think it's really, really good. So, yeah, around a 7.
Cool. Sounds good. All right, man. So that's going to do it for State of Play.
Oh,
Let's
what about Wall? Oh, the
wait.
disrespect.
What happened?
He talked about right?
You didn't
Did
give a
you?
score though.
Oh, okay.
I don't. No, no. I mean, I thought he remembered that I'm not a fan of scoring. I thought that was like.
He thought he was being he was right. So you were being
Nah, he just
considerate.
forgot.
Alright,
He just forgot.
yeah, of course. What are you guys
That's
talking
a
about, man?
whole one. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, of course.
No. The thing is, y'all, I just watched the highlights. I didn't watch the whole thing, so I mean, it all works out. But Macho, man, you have to say it, man. You have to. eh, no, man, I'm gonna agree with Macho with what was presented, not with the pacing, just with the contents of the, like a 7.5. Just a nice little summer event to get you, dipping your toes into that tres leches. You know what I mean? Just a little nice.
Wait, dipping your toes into a dessert? Okay, better float your boat, my man.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a little 7.5. Well, you sold. Did you rank it high?
Yeah, I gave it a 7.
7. Okay, then we're all on the same page. Yeah, 7.5. Yeah.
All right, man. Let's talk about what's going on, man?
I'm playing The Witcher 3, and then like I'm getting this contract for a monster hunt, and then this dude in the background just doing push-ups with his
Watch it,
whole
stop
gear
laughing.
on and everything.
Making me laugh.
This dude has the Skellige like headgear on with the antlers and everything. This dude just doing random push-ups in the background.
Let's talk about Assassin's Creed Infinity, man. So me and Macho, we did a little video discussing sort of like we discussed our sort of like initial thoughts on this. We came away pretty negative. It's hard to see really any positives in this initially. I feel like surprisingly, man, I might play a little devil's advocate here.
No.
So go ahead, Macho, take it away. Why don't you reiterate kind of your thoughts on this?
Yeah, first of all, that was a really good one, man. That was you found a golden nugget right there of a fart.
Golden turd.
Oh man.
All right, sorry. Get back on track. Assassin's Creed Infinity. Okay. For someone that has been coming from basically replaying the games for the majority of the year and was pretty deflated on having to play Origins after a fantastic Assassin's Creed Syndicate experience, this just reaffirmed like my hype for the series to be like really at an all-time low. Live service isn't the death of a franchise. It's not the complete end of it, but for me, it's the least likely that I'll be engaged with. And to hear I hear some people saying that this isn't like part of the mainline Assassin's Creed, which you don't know that. No one really knows that.
That's weird. Why are people saying that?
Yeah, to say that as like
Wow.
if it's fact, like it's not part of mainline series, you have no idea if that's even like a thing.
Then they got the same info from the dude Jay was talking about, right?
Oh, probably.
Yeah,
Shout
so
out to
like,
Wonton.
so it's more or less kind of like a shot in the dark of like where Affinity really stands. I think we just really had to like wait and see on that. But as far as like initial impressions and knowing how Ubisoft is going to operate, it probably is going to be part of the main thing. It's going to be like their kind of like their platform for all things Assassin's Creed. And if that's the case, I'm going to be really sad about it. I was really hoping that the next Assassin's Creed would be like a mix of what they've been learning from Valhalla and Syndicate and kind of mesh that into like a really true to form Assassin's Creed game. But at this point, I'm very pessimistic about that. So I'm coming off as sad. I'm very disheartened by kind of this decision that they're making as a fan.
Walt, what about you?
Um, So I'll go back to something that you mentioned with Macho back this week when y'all were talking about it, and I think I encapsulated pretty much what is giving me bad vibes from this situation, and it's the fact that it's hard for me to envision what this will look like, and I think that speaks volumes of what kind of a game or what kind of a franchise Assassin's Creed is, and also what kind of trust that Ubisoft has built with its audience. Because I do think that there are certain companies that when they announce a certain shift in their philosophy or their development, depending on what company it is, you have a certain trust with them, and sometimes you'll just be along for the ride. You know, maybe for us, let's say, an instance, Macho heard something for Square Enix, right? And Square Enix is saying that they're doing a certain shift. He could be inclined on giving them a chance until he sees it, but if he sees the product, then he'll know. Right now, it's hard for me to gauge how I'm thinking. You know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking Division. I'm thinking like this Assassin's Creed is gonna somehow be like this open world where you can only have a selective amount of people roaming around, but it's gonna be like different servers, and you're gonna be able to join different missions just around the city. I don't know. It's hard for me to envision it, and that's what makes me like just deflated beyond belief. Because contrary to Macho, I haven't played the classic Assassin's Creeds in a while. The last one I played, not the last one, like for the first time, but last one I touched was Black Flag, because it's still my favorite Assassin's Creed. And I remember playing it, and the amount of different shifts that they've gone through to make what they've done now, like the RPG setting, the hack and slash kind of approach, and now go to this live service. Being this confused and this like sad about it's what's making me like consider getting it even less. Does that make sense? Like I'm not getting it. I don't get it. And that's what's so mind-boggling. I can't understand. Like, am I crazy? Like, I can't envision this. Maybe that's why I'm not a developer. Maybe that's not an Ubisoft, because I can't envision how an Assassin's Creed live service will look like, and because of the magic of this franchise, it is in stalking your prey, planning where to go from, planning how to take down this, whether that be a Templar or that be a bandit or whatever it is. It's hard for me to envision. I'm good with Valhalla, and that's the thing. I'm good with the new formula. I don't dislike it. It's a very, very drastic change from what it originally was. But I was more open to what Origins was going to be than I am now to the idea of live service. Not that I'm against live service. I've played tons of live service games, and I have enjoyed most of them. But this ain't it. I don't know. It ain't it. Being this confused is what's turning me off from even considering giving this a chance. But who knows? Maybe I'll see a trailer. They'll announce Assassin's Creed Infinity, and I'll be like, "Oh hell, this is the best game ever made." I doubt it. But hey, who knows? Life is unpredictable like that, Life is uncertain. But I don't know. I'm sad, y'all. I'm kind of. I had hopes. It's weird having hopes from Ubisoft, but yeah, I had hopes.
No, they're the last. They're the last company you should be having hopes for.
Yeah, no, like I feel like Ronan. Like, don't do that. Don't give me hope. Like, there's no hope to be given now. Don't do that. What are you doing? Like, there is nothing. It sucks. It sucks. It really sucks. I feel sad, guys. God damn it.
So for me, I kind of marinated on this after we talked Macho, and so there's a couple of things that's about this. Like, once you actually kind of dig into the article, that sounds promising. So, first of all, this idea of like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be this hub but apparently that well, first of all, let me bring this up. Do you remember in Assassin's Creed Unity, I believe it's like the beginning of the game where it brings up this screen and it's like all of these locations like throughout time, and it's like different assassins. So like there's like one that has like a picture of Ezio, there's one with like a picture of Altair, there's one that has like some assassins from like the 1930s like New York. There's like
Yeah, I think they had Aveline on there too.
yeah.
And
So
Connor.
Oh wow.
so thinking of, and it was I remember seeing that picture before the game released and thinking like, oh my god, we're gonna get to like you know, kind of do like a mission or something like that with like all these assassins. And it was like total BS. Like you access like one of them, and that's like when you access the sort of like medieval like French or like Templar or whatever from like the prologue of Unity, and that's all that screen was for. But anyway, it's that sort of idea of like if this is like sort of that idea fully realized in Infinity, where it's like, yeah, you bring up this sort of screen and it's literally this place where you can access sort of different time periods, little stories from different assassins across different time periods. That does sound pretty cool. And sort of this idea that like a lot of AC fans have been asking for is like, yeah, a game with multiple locations, multiple settings. And then another thing that they mentioned, or Ubisoft mentioned, was that sort of like Assassin's Creed has been kind of like like bouncing back and forth between developers. So like, you know, one year it'll be Montreal taking the helm, the next year it'll be Quebec taking the helm. And Ubisoft pointed out in their piece that this kind of like it didn't feel like too collaborative, or like the games would feel a little like too dissimilar from each other. So combining the two teams kind of prevents that. So and that's kind of like what AC fans have been asking for, right? Because it's kind of like, okay, we have Origins made by Montreal, and then you go to Odyssey, which is made by Quebec, but then those two barely feel like, in terms of story, those two kind of feel like completely disjointed from each other. So now if you have both teams working together, maybe you can, like they brought up this word cohesive a lot. Maybe now that they're together, okay, now we actually have the opportunity to make an Assassin's Creed title like feel cohesive narratively. So that prospect is like kind of exciting. So yeah, like I said, there's a couple things in here that does sound like kind of cool. But one thing that we didn't touch on in the video, and we probably should have, but I'll bring it up now, is the whole, you know, the allegations and the harassment stuff that's been happening at Ubisoft that I'm sure you guys are privy to. The fact that this is like pretty like fucking disgusting to me, is that
Yeah.
two of like the worst offenders who have gotten like the most complaints are like Jonathan Dumont and Marc-Alexis Cote are like in positions of leadership for AC Infinity. So they've essentially been like promoted. Marc-Alexis Cote specifically has been promoted to like the executive producer of the Assassin's Creed brand. So he is like the top dog of the franchise now. And to me that is like fucking disgusting. Not only for like the you know, the allegations, like that's just like, I don't know how you can honestly like, you know, morally like do that. But also Cote, he's like, he was the director for Syndicate. So now you're giving this guy, you know, the helm of your franchise. And then also Quebec is now like the leading studio for Infinity, and that's the team that made Odyssey and made Syndicate. And so like for a lot of AC fans, that's kind of like a head scratcher when Montreal has like been regarded as like the best AC studio, because they're the ones who did Black Flag. Origins and Valhalla. So it's like you're giving essentially Montreal is like a support team to Quebec, and it's kind of just a head scratcher. Like, why are you giving Quebec, the helm to the franchise? It's just really really weird. And now you're giving this Marc Alexis Cote guy the sort of like, now he's the top dog of the franchise as well. And it's just overall it's just really really fucking like weird, man. I don't know if you.
That's so shitty.
Yeah.
And that makes me even more like looking at the franchise in like the worst way now, especially since they what was it, Ashraf Ismail,
Yeah.
how he left Assassin's Creed Valhalla after what happened with him and the allegation against him,
Yeah.
what was going on there. Yeah, just that puts a really bad taste in my mouth now.
Yeah. Well, I'm
I didn't realize that their positions that they got promoted to, but just knowing that makes me want to write off the series from here on out.
Yeah, man. Like that dude, like apparently was like encouraging, like sort of like the or enabling the behavior, and then Dumont specifically is like known to be like throwing chairs and like verbally abusing women, and apparently telling them when to smile and shit like that. Like it's just fucking gross behavior, man. And the fact that like Ubisoft, man, like they're a sad fucking excuse of a company, man, to do a quote unquote a third party investigation, and the fact that they turned up nothing, or in their words that they turned up like nothing like conclusive, or however the fuck they phrased it. It's simply the matter of like, okay, like this clearly hasn't affected sales, and these people have been able to deliver games that have been commercially successful. So their line of thinking is like, well, we clearly need these people, to continue to do that for us. So we can't get rid of them unless like our hand is forced, unless that actually, this controversy like actually translate into like our sales diminishing. Then they'll get rid of these people. But until then, they're making all the money in the world. AC is selling better than ever. Why would they get rid of these people? And it's sad that that's kind of like the way that they're looking at it. But it's just a fucked up situation overall, man.
No, if that's the case, fuck Ubisoft. Like honestly, like fuck everything. Like what is this needs to like there needs to be like a complete overhaul of the company then. Like there needs to be like proper investigation. Whatever they're doing, it sounds like pathetic. Like it sounds very pathetic what they're doing. Like in terms of that third party investigation. And considering now it's the leadership, they transitioned into leadership. How the ones that are being abused, they're gonna have a harder time now, like standing up to when they're being abused. First of all, their mental struggle is gonna keep on going. Second of all, when that's going on, when your job is on the line, probably a lot of them, they see this as just a means to an end. Maybe they've been convinced that there's no way out of it, and it's sad. It's sad that because there will be employees that this is the only thing they can afford to have right now, and that sucks because now it's the leadership that's the one calling the shots in terms of how to treat others. Like you meant, what the fuck, like.
And Masha,
Yeah,
this
employees can only do so much too, because I did read up on a report how employees are planning to leave the company, or
that's
massive.
That's what I was
move.
going to bring up, is that we kind of talked about one specific guy leaving the company, but not related to this, but like we kind of theorized that like him leaving because of Assassin's Creed going in this direction. But then what's his name, Schreier, also mentioned in his article that like, hey, Ubisoft is having a tough time retaining talent. And why the fuck do you think that's happening, Ubisoft? Like, I mean,
I mean, it's also the thing too of just like I don't even know if like a massive leave of people are is going to move the needle, because the same thing just happened with, what was it? Deadspin or something like that, where like everybody just went up and left,
Oh, I don't
right?
know.
Yeah, it was just
I
one of
know.
those. It was one of those things where like a gaming website or just like website in general, where like they
Oh,
had a shift in leadership.
DualShockers. That happened to them.
Yeah, where the
Oh, true.
DualShockers, yeah, exactly, and they all just went up and left, and nothing changed because the people were still stayed in power or whatever the case may be. It was I think it was
Yeah.
Deadspin or in DualShock or something like that. But it was most recent, like in the past year or so, that
I know
something
there's
happened
one
where employees just
that
left and nothing
yeah,
changed
there's one
because
that
of
happened
leadership.
where they liquidated the whole thing, and like the company, I think it doesn't exist anymore, or it shifted leadership. So last year during the summer, I forgot the name of the company, but they essentially worked behind Skullgirls and Indivisible, I think, and
Oh, Lab
they
Zero,
said,
yeah,
yeah, Lab Zero. They essentially had also like tons of allegations against most of the leadership, or I think one specific person at least was like behind a lot of very, very scummy stuff, and they essentially like they started leaving in waves, and that one summer there was this last wave of people, and they were the last ones to just head to other ventures, which honestly, whether Ubisoft changes or not, all I want is like for these victims to just up and leave and look for better ventures. I know it's easier it's not as easy as it sounds, considering the effort sometimes you have to put to look for another maybe I don't know how well they're doing in terms of like an actual job, but anything's better than taking shit from, and especially to this degree, because that just sounds absolutely miserable to be in that
yeah,
situation.
yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah. And regarding the game itself, yeah. I mean, like I said, like there's some things there that could be cool, I guess, but overall, I'm still not, like the most. Like obviously, I'm not shit. I haven't supported a Ubisoft game in years. I haven't bought. I think the last Ubisoft game I bought was probably Watch Dogs 1. That was back in 2014. So yeah, Ubisoft, like they're yeah, I could care less about anything that they put out.
Hmm.
And this stuff for sure. Like I saw one dude from Kind of Funny that he was like, after specifically the allegation stuff resurfaced with Schreier's article, that he was like, he's done buying Ubisoft games after this. And
Yeah.
that's kind of my line of thinking too. But
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
no, this
yeah,
is
I'm gonna bite my tongue on influencers making those statements, but
yeah,
yeah,
it's true.
yeah.
Very true.
That is absurd. I
Or
don't. I have this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was, just really quickly, or if you really want to play a Ubisoft game, Matcha, you might have to put on the eye patch, wave the flag, and sail the high
sail
seas.
the high.
Yes,
That
sir.
might be in the plan, man. I'm
Damn.
looking to see where I can get my pirate hat.
Oh man.
Especially for
This
that
dude.
Avatar game, man. I know it because that's probably one of the most. That's probably one of the games I've been anticipating for a long time, and it makes me sad that Ubisoft is actually publishing it.
Yeah, very true.
So
Yeah.
who knows?
This.
I might have to I might have to get that eye patch, boy.
Yeah.
Just wait. You gotta wait for those, because there's gonna be the wave of, dude. You can't. You can separate the publisher or developer from the art. Like, just play the game. Like, don't worry about the development. Because like they always you have these defenders, and I don't know, would it be a fanboy or whatever it is? They just defend these companies to the bitter end, and they'll justify. Oh no! As long as deliver a product, it doesn't matter the way that they do it. No. This ain't it, chief. This ain't. I don't mind. I haven't had problems so far abandoning properties because of shitty behavior from leadership. It's happened, and it's happened everywhere. It's happened in movies, TV shows. It's happened in comic books, where there's the authors just or creators just they can't keep their pants up. They for some reason, and you just have to abandon ship because This ain't a ride or die situation. We're talking about humanity, humans. We're talking about people that are being emotionally damaged and possibly physically. So, no, this
Yeah,
ain't it.
that's always a tough cookie too, because you want to support developers in their works, and that's what we're all about. That's why we because these people that are making amazing stuff. But how do you? I think Greg brought this up too. Where like, how do you support something knowing the back in your mind that they had to go through so much shit
Mm-hmm.
and are
Yeah,
probably
Yeah.
still going through so much shit.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
I
definitely.
feel like it's a case by case basis, but in this case with
It
Ubisoft,
really is.
it's like you're already in
Uh,
hot waters, and right now you're just not making it. You're not making any better for yourself.
nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
But yeah, man. Like I said, the idea of possibly, because like they also talked about like this possibly being a place where like you can access like different types of Assassin's Creed experiences within this platform, like games that are both big and small, and like I don't know, the prospect of like we never got like a Connor sort of sequel, so like they could put in time for like a little 8 hour side story, or like Miles Morales kind of esque game featuring Connor within this platform. Like if that is truly their sort of line of thinking of building a live service platform for Assassin's Creed, then like the potential for like specifically like the stories that they can tell like single player wise, I think could be pretty cool. But in terms of like the more multiplayer stuff and like having multiple assassins running around and doing like a team deathmatch or some shit like that is like
Like
not.
Black Flag, where the multiplayer was like essentially you had to hunt other players in between the crowds and stuff.
I
It's kind of
mean,
cool.
if they brought that back, that would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no hope for Ubisoft telling a really quality story like that, to be honest, especially
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed.
yeah,
No. More Adewale. Give me more Adewale. He was cool. We didn't get enough of that.
yeah. But yeah, man. I think we talked about that extensively. I guess that's pretty much it for the podcast. We gotta get you out of here, Macho. So let's wrap things up, man.
True. How's it
Um,
looking, Macho? Is it still raining? How's it looking?
No, yeah, the sun is coming out, man. It's actually nice. Hopefully it's like that where we had to take our engagement photos. So,
nice, nice.
yeah,
All right, man. We'll,
Oh
we'll
yeah.
get you out of here. So yeah, man. Thank you guys for coming through. Those who stopped by live and who come through afterwards, we appreciate it nonetheless. Go ahead and toss us a like and consider subscribing to the channel, man. We would greatly appreciate that. So yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Macho, what do you got going on this week?
Returno, baby. I'm excited to get back into that one and just kind of dive in. But hopefully I could maybe I could beat the game this weekend. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But other than that, yeah, it was an exciting week nonetheless with a lot of Witcher stuff. Looking forward to that and just kind of just dipping and dabbing and finally some remake and everything. So, but yeah, by the next podcast, hopefully I'll have Returnal beat, and then maybe me and Soul can deep dive a little bit on kind of some gameplay, and then well, are you planning on playing more?
Yeah. Now you mentioned it. That'll be the game I'll hop in whenever I get the chance. Obviously through in between school stuff, I'll be trying to get past Frike, which I'm pretty sure and by next podcast I'll be further into the game. But yeah, more Returnal, more death, more intensity. I love it. I love it when a game makes me just clench every fiber of my body. I love it. But yeah, other than that, pretty pretty chill week. Not nothing else besides just more summer classes and stuff. But yeah.
Nice, nice. For me, man, um, Not much, man. I got I still gotta get through Resident Evil 2, man, but
Woo!
Mr. X, man, I don't wanna. He, I don't know, man. Just for whatever reason, he's more terrifying than Nemesis. I don't know why, but he's really
Yes.
he's really making me kind of like question whether I want to keep going, man. This man crazy. Um,
Man, he was with purpose.
it's the fedora, I think, man. Like
The fedora, yeah.
he should not be wearing regular clothes. Like simple as that, man. Um,
He looks like one of those enemies in Bloodborne near the cathedral
yeah,
where Vicar Amelia is.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Besides
Push
that,
through, man. Push through. Push through.
we'll
Yeah,
see.
man.
Besides that, I don't think I have anything else that I'm gonna be playing. I mean, Kina in August. That's probably about it. Funnily enough, man, I don't know if I'll actually do it, but I have kind of like an itching to replay Red Dead Redemption 2. Like
Ooh.
for yeah, man, like I don't know. Whoa.
Hey man. Hey.
Hang on.
Hey. You wanna put them gloves on? I'm ready whenever you are.
Hang on.
Bro, you go take your pictures, your nice little fiance pictures. You ain't gonna come here with that slander.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
hell no.
You don't hear us talking shit about your pictures and doing your thing, man. Have some respect, man.
No, I'm just joking around. I
Okay.
respect RDR2 for what it is, but like, I'm not the biggest fan of that game, but it is. That's another conversation for another time.
Yeah, that's
Once Rockstar releases Red Dead 2 for like the 100th time in the next 10 years.
that's the thing, man. Like I'm not excited with the prospect of like playing through that game again, but
The open world's incredible. Like
Oh
yeah.
that's one
Oh,
thing
yeah.
about it. Like honestly, if you what I did because I was just so bored with the story. Like I
What?
think it was like in chapter 2 or 3. I was.
Oh my
well,
God, Macho.
for the first 3 chapters, I was like incredibly bored. And then afterwards, that's when it started to pick up. I was like, okay, I was actually getting invested. But so what I
Yeah.
did to kind of bide my time until I got something good that I liked, I just literally went around the entire open world, and I was like, yeah, okay, there's magic here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree that the game does. It's a slow burner at first, but once you reach, I forgot the name of the town, where it's the two rival houses.
Yeah, that's a
I
great.
forgot the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
That's
Yep,
when
I
it's
agree.
like,
I
boom,
agree.
safe Jack, and you're like, whoa, it's getting there. Saint Denis, boom, Takiti. Shut the hell up, Dutch. Shut the hell up, Dutch.
After that point, that's when I got invested. But like the first like 4 or 5 hours, I was like, oh my
Yeah,
god.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but yeah, just like like I said, I don't know if I'll actually do it, but it's kind of something that I've been thinking about. But yeah, besides that, nothing much. So yeah, once again, thank you guys for coming through, and we'll see you guys in the next podcast. Peace out, guys.